Good morning, good evening to all of you.
Hey, good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Okay, now today the concept what we are discussing is about the extension ledger, the new ledger. So yesterday we discussed what is a ledger, what is the understanding of the ledger, what is the importance of the ledger, and what is a leading ledger, what is a non-leading ledger. Okay, so we discussed about the concept about all those things. Now let me discuss about the new ledger, which is called as an extension ledger in our SAP S/4HANA. Just 1 second, I'll share my desktop to all of you. Okay. Normally, in any company, if you take a company, okay, any company, if you take, okay, we will do some internal adjustments for the internal reporting purpose. May not be useful for the external, may not be done for the external, but for internal reporting purpose. Okay, so we'll do some kind of adjustments, some kinds of postings. Okay, so we will do that kind of transactions. So these adjustments are only for the management decision making purpose only. These adjustments are only for the management decision making purpose, not for any other purpose. Only for the decision purpose, I want to use this separate kinds of ledgers where it should not be effect to the main ledgers. It has to be only used for the adjustment purpose for the internal decision making. So when I take a ledger and a leading ledger, when I take a leading ledger and non-leading ledger, so these two ledgers are mainly useful for external reporting purpose, which is impact, which is having a major impact, which are very sensitive, which is impacting to our financial statement version. If I go and see, okay, if I go and see the balances in my account, okay, if I go and see in my balances account, so I would like to have this leading and non-leading ledgers. So these leading and non-leading ledgers are never used for any kind of internal reporting purpose. These are going to be affecting for the financial statement. So I want a separate ledger actually. I want a separate ledger which will be only used for internal reporting purpose, where I can do some adjustment postings, where I can do some kinds of transactions for any kind of like for example for reposting of the revenues or something like any kinds of consolidation purpose or any kind of something like posting in the closed period. So these kind of adjustments I would like to do. These are only for the internal decision making purpose. Okay, I don't want to show, I don't want to have any effect on the leading and the non-leading ledgers. I don't want to have any kind of effect. Just like a rough book, just like a notebook I want, just like a book I want, which is only for the rough purpose, for only for my understanding, for my internal reporting purpose. So those kind of adjustments you cannot do in the leading ledgers and in the non-leading ledgers. Why? Because these are mainly we are using for the financial statement, for the reporting purpose, for the external reporting purpose. So what the SAP has done from the SAP from the SAP S/4HANA onwards, they have introduced a new ledger actually. So earlier in the simple finance, we used to call it as the appendix ledger. We used to call it as the appendix ledger. Okay, now this appendix ledger, the nomenclature has been changed to extension ledger. Now we are not calling it as appendix ledger. Now we are going to be calling it as extension ledger. This is called as a extension ledger. So what I would like to do here is I am going to be taking the main ledger. Okay, let us assume that like this. Okay, so let him that I'll take one example now. Now I just want to make it something like that. Okay, now what I will do, I'll take one example. Okay, now I'll take one ledger. I'll take one leading ledger. This is my leading ledger. This is my leading ledger, which I am going to be calling it as the OL. OL is nothing but my 0L, which is mainly useful for the reporting. So I will do lot many transactions in this OL. So what is the currency? The currency which I'm using is going to be the USD, and the financial year is Jan to December. Jan to December. Very, very important. So this is my leading ledger. So this has been assigned to my company code. My company code is US10. US10 is nothing but my company code. Now, on the top of this OL, I want to have a ledger which is going to be called as the appendix ledger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be constructing a new ledger on the top. I'm stapling this new ledger on this top of this extension ledger. Very, very important. This is very, very important concept. So I'm going to staple a new ledger on the top of this new ledger. Okay, that is what that we are going to be calling it as the leading ledger. So this ledger, I'm going to be calling it as A1. A1 is nothing but my appendix ledger. This appendix ledger will use the same financial year. Very, very important. Certification question to all of you. Certification question it is. The appendix ledger will use the same financial year of your underlying ledger. Okay, whether you're stapling your appendix ledger or extension ledger on the leading ledger or on the non-leading ledger. So the extension ledger will use the same financial year of the underlying ledger. This is the certification question. Please make a note of all of you. So there are many purposes out there. There are many purposes. What is the use of this extension ledger? The extension ledgers I'm going to be constructing on the base ledger. It will inherit the currency settings. It will inherit the fiscal year variant settings of the leading ledger or the extension ledger, which is going to be stapled on the main ledger. So the underlying ledger always will be your leading ledger or a non-leading ledger. On the underlying ledger, you are going to have the extension ledger. So these extension ledger, whatever the postings you are making, whatever the transaction postings I'm making, day-to-day transactions are there. So whatever the transactions I'm posting to the underlying ledger, automatically these transactions are going to be inherited to your extension ledger automatically. For example, today I'm posting something like a salaries account. A salaries account is getting debited. My cash or bank account is getting credited. So these accounting transactions I'm posting in my leading in the base ledger. Your base ledger is nothing but your OL. Okay. So once whatever the transactions have been posted, now automatically I see this line item, the debit line item. The debit line item is called as a salary account, and the credit line item is going to be called as a cash or bank account. I can see these line items are getting inherited. Very, very important. Not the document number. Only the line items, only the line items are getting inherited to the appendix ledger automatically. So here you can see the salaries account and the cash or bank account. Cash or bank account. So these line items are getting inherited automatically. It is getting posted to the extension ledger, which is stapled on the base ledger. Your base ledger can be your leading ledger or your base ledger can be your non-leading ledger. So you can have lot many appendix ledgers. You can have lot many extension ledgers on the top of your base ledger. So you can have one extension, one appendix ledger I want to use for the restatement purpose. I want to use it for the restatement purpose. One appendix ledger I want to use for the reposting of the revenues. One appendix ledger I want to use for the consolidation purpose, for the internal reporting purpose. So there may be lot many appendix ledgers. So you can have multiple extension ledgers on the top of your base ledger. Very, very important. And one more thing, you can't have one more appendix ledger or the extension ledger on the top of your base ledger, which is going to be called as your appendix ledger. Very, very important. You don't have the hierarchy like this. No hierarchy of having the one more extension ledger on the top of another extension ledger. No, there is no hierarchical process of having the extension ledger. Very, 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 very important, this concept. So there is a new ledger has been introduced in our SAP S/4HANA for different purposes, for reposting of the revenues, for the consolidation purpose, for the regrouping purpose, for any kind of internal reporting, for any kind of internal adjustments. If you want to make any kind of internal adjustments where you want to repost any kind of transactions for the internal decision making, for those purpose, SAP has given you one more new ledger, which is called as the So the concept is very clear to us. Okay, an essential ledger is assigned to a standard ledger. Very good. Okay, just now we have seen the standard ledger can be a leading ledger or the non-leading ledgers. Certification question. This is a certification question. Essential ledgers are getting assigned to. They will give you 4 options. Okay, the essential ledgers always will be assigned to the standard ledger. The standard ledger, either it can be the non-leading ledgers or the leading ledgers. Non-leading ledgers or the leading ledgers, but you don't have any hierarchical process for the essential ledger. Only, very important, only one hierarchical mode, means only top of your base ledgers you can have the extension ledger, but not on the top of your extension ledger one more extension ledger. No, that kind of hierarchical process is not available. Very important. If I take into the SAP, if I go into the SAP, if I see here, okay, if I go into the SAP, okay, one second. Let it get open, okay, I'll take it, okay. So, and it inherits, okay, it inherits all the journal entries of the standard ledger for the reporting purpose. Whatever the transactions you are posting to the base ledger, okay. Today I'm posting a transaction to the base ledger. On the top of the base ledger, I have the appendix ledger. So not many extension ledger, not the appendix. I had to use the word called as extension ledger. Lot many extension ledgers have been stapled on the base ledger. So whatever the transactions you are posting to the base ledger, day-to-day transactions you are posting to the base, automatically those transactions are getting inherited automatically, no manual posting. Automatically those transactions are getting inherited to the extension ledger on the top of your base ledger. Okay, now when these transactions are getting inherited to the extension ledger, now you can play like anything. Not in the base ledger, you can play like anything in the extension ledger. So it is just like a rub book. So if you want to make any kind of adjustments for any kind of purpose, for any reporting purpose, for any decision making system purpose, you can do those adjustments in the extension ledger. You can manipulate your transactions in the extension ledger, but whatever the transactions you have posted to the base ledger, automatically that is getting affected to your external reporting purpose. So I cannot do any kind of changes to the base ledger. So those base ledgers are mainly useful for the external reporting purpose, not for the internal reporting purpose. So for this purpose, SAP has given you a new ledger which is called as extension ledger. So it will inherit all the journal entries of the standard ledger for the reporting. Posting made explicitly to the extension ledgers are visible in that extension ledger, but not in the underlying base ledger. Very important this point. Now, let me talk like this. Okay. Now what I'm telling, whatever the postings you are making to the underlying ledger, okay, whatever the postings I'm making to the base ledger, automatically these postings are getting inherited to my extension ledger. I can see these documents are also getting posted to my extension ledger. Now, Mahesh, do one thing. Don't post. Okay, can I post any documents directly in the extension ledger? Okay, so what you are telling now, so for any kind of adjustment purpose or something like regrouping purpose or for restatement purpose, so you are asking me to have one more extension ledger on the top of the base ledger. Okay, so these postings are not going to be affecting to your financial statements. Very important. So these are only for the internal reporting adjustment purpose only. Now, during the adjustment, I will post some transactions in the extension ledger. Let us assume that, not in the base ledger. I will post some transactions. I'll manipulate some transactions for the reporting purpose. I'll regrouping purpose. So whatever the transactions I'm posting to this extension ledger, vice versa, can it is going to be inherited to the base ledger? No, not at all. So there is no inheritance of the transactions which are getting posted from the extension ledger to the base ledger. If that is the situation, then there is no use of my base ledgers. Very important. Then your SAP is completely manipulated with lot many transactions. So your audit reports, everything will go wrong with the SAP system now. So no vice versa. You can't have any inheritance of the postings of the transactions from the extension ledger to the base ledger. Only the transactions will inherit from the base ledger to the extension ledger, not from the extension ledger to the base ledger. Very important. This is. okay, are visible to exchange, but not in the underlying ledger. This concept can be used to avoid the duplication of the journal entries if many business transactions are valid for both ledgers and only few adjustments are required in the extension ledger. So extension ledgers are just like a rough book. You just assume that just like a rough book, okay, which is not impacting to your financial statements, which is not impacting to your external reporting purpose, which is mainly useful for underlying base ledger for the internal reporting purpose only. So you can have lot many extension ledgers. You can have lot many extension ledgers on the top of your base ledger. Okay. So if you see this example here, if you see this example is going to be explaining everything. See the base ledger I'm going to be using called the OL. The base ledger I'm going to be using called the OL, and on the top of it, I have three extension ledgers. One extension ledger which I'm going to be using the transaction posting in the closure period for the restatement purpose. What is the closure period? For example, let us take an example like this. How many periods are there? Okay, we have 12 periods. Okay, normally we have 12 periods: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Now we are in the month of January. Let us assume that we are in the month of January now. Okay, January 2019. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
just to clarify, the
yeah,
extension ledger and the appendix ledger you are using interchangeably, right? They are not different, are they?
earlier till 2000, till 1503, which is called as a simple finance. At the time, we used to call it as the appendix ledger. From the 1610 onwards, the name has been changed to extension ledger. That's what the concept is remains same.
Okay, thank you.
The concept is remains same, but earlier we supposed to call it as the appendix ledger. Now we are calling it as the extension ledger. That's all.
So Mahesh,
Now,
for the special, for this ledger, right? Extension ledger. So is the posting period is still same, right? For the
very good. I'm coming to that point only, sir. Just I'm explaining the same point here. Very good question, sir. Thank you. Okay. Now, very, very important. As I told you that the extension ledgers will use the same fiscal year variant of the base ledger. Now, what is the fiscal year of the base ledger? Jan to December. Now, here also in the extension ledger, you can't deviate. You can't deviate another fiscal year variant. So the fiscal year variant will be the same as your base. It will be also from Jan to December only. It will be also from Jan to December. Now, let us assume that. Now, whatever the transactions you're posting, that is salaries account is getting debited and your cash or bank account is getting credited, these transactions you're posted on, 03, okay, 01, 2019. Okay, which period it is? It is the first period. Which period? It is January period. January is the first period. So already you have closed the 2018. Now you're in the month of 2000. You are in the year of 2019, a new fiscal year variant. And which period is opened? Only the January period is opened. So this will become your first period. This will become your first period. This will become your first period. Means the remaining all the periods have been closed. So February to till the month of December, all the periods you have closed. So what do you mean by closed? If you're trying to enter any transaction for the month of February, the system will not allow you to post. The system will give an error warning, error message that the period which you are trying to post is closed. Means you cannot post any transactions in the closed period. Why? Because the only period which is opened is nothing but the January. Till you complete all the month-end closing activities of the January, your auditor will not open the period. Your finance manager or something like who has the control for opening and closing of the financial account for the period. So he will not open the period second period until or unless the January period has been closed. Means after 31st of December, for 31st of January, once you complete your 31st of January, if you are entering into the February 1st, then only the second period will be opened and then automatically your first period will be closed. Only the second. So in a company, if you take any kind of company, only the one period is open simultaneously. Only one period is open simultaneously. So here in this example, the transaction which I have posted is in the month of January. Okay, right. Very good. Now let us assume that. Now January 31st is completed. Now assume that is an example. Now you are done with the January 31st. Okay, your January month has been closed. Your period will be closed. So once I close the January, automatically what I will do, I will open my second period because today is the February 1st. So what I will do, I will open the February period. I will open my February period. So once I open, this will become your second period. This will become your second period. Okay. Now, what happens? Your January period will be closed and your February period will be open, and the remaining all the periods will be closed. Only the February month period is open. Now, let us assume that this is the transactions I have posted in the month of February. Okay. Let us assume that. Example, I'm just giving an example. Now, let us assume that now I posted on 01. Okay. 1 second. Actually, the net connectivity is very, very slow. 1 second, sir, please. Okay. 01, 02, 2019, I have posted the transaction in the period 2. That is the second period. In the second period. Now, this is what exactly I am doing in my leading ledger. But when the transactions are getting inherited to the extension ledger, here in this extension ledger, there is no control on the posting periods. Very, 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 very important. You can open your period and you can close your period, or you can open the entire the periods in the year, or you can open the previous period. It is in control of you. It is not going to be under control of just like a leading ledger. Very, very important. So the periods can be opened at any time in the extension ledger. There is no control of opening and closing of the periods as per the standard of the base ledger, because in the base ledger, I have opened the second period only. The January period has been closed, but in the extension ledger, you can open the month of January and you can open the month of February. You can open the month of March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. There is no control. Why? Because this extension ledger is only for the adjustment purpose only. So I can open the period at any time and I can do the adjustments. Whatever the postings I want to make in the month of January. Now the January period has been closed, but I want to do some adjustments for the regrouping purpose, for the restatement purpose. Can I open the month of January for the extension ledger? Yes, you can go back and you can open the month of January and you can do the adjustment postings for the any kind of for reporting purpose. But this situation will not be available in your leading ledger. Why? Because leading ledger is for the external reporting purpose. Now the second period is open. You are not supposed to open the first period. If it is open your first period, your audit report will go wrong, because your audit, the first period month end closings have already been completed. Now you are in the second period, but not in the case of extension ledger. That is the reason why I should want the extension ledger. In the closed period also, I want to have some adjustments. I want to do some now normal postings for the any kind of revenue postings or for the consolidation purpose. So at any time I can open the period and I can do the transactions in the extension ledger, but not in the case of your leading ledger. Sir, your doubt is clarified, sir?
Yes.
Mahesh, Prem here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Prem, sir.
So one quick question. You said or you mentioned that the extension ledger, the fiscal year has to be the same like the leading ledger.
Exactly.
What about
sir,
the currency?
Sir, currency can be
What about
deviated, sir. Currency can be deviated here. Currency, there is no currency option here. Currency can be deviated. That is what exactly I want to be very, very well.
Okay. Thank you.
And one more thing here, and here, once I'm using, one second. What happened? Yeah. Okay. Where is that? Okay. January month. Okay. Now, whatever the transactions you are posting in the month of January, okay, lot many, if you take some companies like big multinational companies, manufacturing companies like automobiles, like thousands of transactions I'm posting in the base ledger. Okay. Now, I want one extension ledger. This extension ledger, as I told earlier, this extension ledger can be stapled on base ledger, that is OL, or it can be extended, it can be also stapled on the non-leading ledgers also. In certification, most of the people will do only with the major mistake here is they will only understand that the extension ledger can be stapled on the leading ledgers, not on the non-leading ledgers. No way. The extension ledgers can be stapled on both leading ledgers or the non-leading ledgers. So SAP, there is an option is there actually. So when you're creating an extension ledger, okay, on which base ledger you want to have the stapled of the extension ledger. So here, if I go into the SAP here, if I go into the SAP, this is not the practical, just I'm showing because practicals we have not yet started. Just it is an example which I'm showing in the system. Don't take it consideration as it is the practicals, no. Because a lot of things we have to discuss. We have to discuss about the currencies also, no. Okay, now I'm creating one extension ledger. Example, I'm creating one extension ledger which is going to be called as extension ledger E1. Example I'm taking. Okay, I'm creating one ledger. So I'm just writing here extension ledger for regrouping purpose or for restatement purpose. For restatement purpose. Okay, so this is one extension ledger I want to be created. Okay, right, very good. Now, this is not the leading ledger actually. Okay, only for OL we'll select this option. Only for OL, that is only for the leading ledgers only we'll select. We will not select this checkbox for non-leading ledgers and for the extension ledger. So there will be only one leading ledger. There will be only one leading ledger for a company code. You cannot have multiple leading ledgers, only one leading ledger, but you can have multiple non-leading ledgers. So this checkbox is only for the leading ledger. So I should not select this checkbox. So what type of ledger type it is? So if it is it a non-leading ledger? If it is a non-leading ledger, just select it as a standard ledger. You should select it as a standard ledger. No, it is not a standard ledger. It is extension ledger. So you need to tell to the SAP it is extension ledger. So here option is there. You need to select as the extension ledger. If you're selecting it as the standard ledger, then it will become your leading ledger or non-leading ledger. It depends upon your requirement. But it is not a leading or non-leading. It is an extension ledger. So I'm just putting it as extension ledger. Very, very important. Now here anyway it will be action. I'll tell all these things. Okay, not don't take it to consideration. I'll tell. Okay, extension ledger type is a extension ledger. Now, as I told you that your extension ledgers cannot be an independent. Your extension ledger cannot be an independent. It should be on the underlying ledger of any of the base ledger. The base ledger can be your leading ledger or the base ledger can be your non-leading ledger. So what I'm going to do here, I'm taking this extension ledger, I'm putting on the base ledger. Your base ledger I'm taking as the OL. OL is nothing but your leading ledger. So one ledger. Next one. Hey Mahesh, I want one more ledger also, E2. Okay, what is this purpose? This extension ledger, I'll do. This extension ledger, what I will do, I want it for the revenue postings. Revenue purpose, the revenue postings. Okay. Can I have one more extension ledger? Yes, you can have multiple extension ledger. And select it as the extension ledger. Don't take it as the standard ledger. And on which base ledger you want to staple? On the same OL only. Can I have one more ledger like this? Yes. You can have multiple extension ledger pointing out on the base ledger. Not like one base ledger is equal to one leading ledger or one leading ledger is equal to one base ledger of extension. No. You can have multiple appendix ledgers or sorry, extension ledgers on stapling to your base ledger. So here, if you see here, I'm using two extension ledger. One is E1, one extension ledger. I want to use it for the restatement purpose, and one extension ledger I want to use for the revenue posting. Both I want to staple on the same base ledger, which is going to be called my leading ledger. Can I have like this? Automatically. Yes, definitely you can take it like this.
So Mahesh, can we have non-ledger here in underlying ledger?
Sir. Definitely, sir. Definitely. Yesterday we have
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can have. All right.
Yes, sir. Fine. Sure, sir. Definitely, sir. And if you're selecting it, and if you're selecting this, okay, no manual postings are allowed. What does it mean? No manual postings are allowed means I'm making my system cautious that only the transactions which you are posting in the base ledger will get inherited to the extension ledger, but For any kind of adjustment, if you want to post directly in the base ledger, in the exchange ledger, you cannot do any kind of manual postings over there. Why? Because I'm selecting the checkbox. This checkbox is controlling that you cannot do any kind of manual postings in the particular ledger. This is very, 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 very important. So no manual postings not allowed means if you select the checkbox, you cannot do any kind of manual postings. Only the documents will get inherited from the base ledger only. Whatever the documents you're posting in the base ledger, these particular transactions will get inherited to your extension ledger. But if you are trying to post any manual entries in the closure period or open period for any kind of adjustment, now the system will not allow. Why? Because you have selected that there is a no manual postings are allowed. If you want to do the postings of manual, then you have to do. You don't select the checkbox. You don't select the checkbox.
Mahesh, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
What is the purpose of having an extension ledger on non-leading ledgers? Yeah, every ledger is based on some accounting principle. The reading.
Correct, sir. Yeah.
But what is the purpose of having an extension ledger on non-leading ledger?
Okay. See, sir. Non-leading ledgers, mainly the specific reason of having the non-leading ledgers is having for the different statement purpose. Okay, as I told you yesterday in the class that okay, leading ledger I'm using for the financial statement for the local GAAP. Non-leading ledger I'm using for the IFRS reporting purpose, something like that. Okay. So your non-leading ledger is nothing but it is a concept of just like a leading ledger only, but you're having a one more ledger for the restate for the different financial statement purpose. Both are having the same equal rights, sir. Both are having the equal rights, but to have the different financial statements, you are using the non-leading ledger. You are posting whatever the postings you are making to the non-leading ledger, that is also useful. See, for example, now, okay, I'll tell you one example, sir. Now. Okay. Now,
Mahesh,
I want a
Mahesh, I'm sorry. I just one question.
Madam, 1 minute. I'll just clarify this doubt and I'll come back to you, madam, please. Huh? Okay. Now, I want to have two financial statements. One financial statement, one financial statement. Very, very important. One financial statement I want to use is for the US GAAP. This is for the US GAAP, which is the local reporting purpose. This is the local. This is the local reporting purpose. So for this, I will use the OL. And Mahesh, I want one more reporting purpose that is not the local. This is for the IFRS reporting purpose. IFRS reporting purpose, as I told you yesterday, we are creating one non-leading ledger that is going to be called as the N1. Both are going to be the affecting to my external reporting purpose, so not for internal. IFR is not for the internal and US GAAP is not for the external. Both are for the external reporting purpose, which is impacting to your financial statement, both are impacting to your financial statement. But to show different financial statement, apart from the local financial accounting reporting, you want to have the non-leading ledgers for the other reporting purpose. Okay, now I am showing two different reportings. One reporting is for the US GAAP, one reporting is for the IFRS. So this reporting of IFRS is called as a non-leading ledger. In this non-leading ledgers also, I am doing some postings, no sir. Whatever the posting, so I'm doing some postings in the non-leading ledgers also, which is impacting to my IFRS reporting. So it just like it is not a local, but it is a ledger which is having the impact for the IFRS. So this non-leading ledger is mainly reporting purpose, so which is impacting to your financial statement. So I can have an extension ledger on the top of the non-leading ledger, sir, here, which is for another reporting purpose, but it is majorly playing as a reporting purpose, not as for the local, but is having the internal reporting, not external reporting purpose for the IFRS. So this non-leading ledger is also doing some postings. So on the non-leading ledgers also, I can have one more extension ledger. It depends upon the requirement to requirement. It is not a compulsory that hey, you should have extension ledger on the non-leading ledger. You should have extension ledger on the leading ledger. It depends upon what requirements you want to make. So in the non-leading ledgers also, I will do some adjustments. In non-leading ledgers also, I will do some adjustments. In non-leading ledgers, I will do some reposting of the revenues. In non-leading ledgers also, I will do some restatement purpose. In non-leading ledgers also, I will do some consolidation purpose. So where should I do all these things? That I will do on the extension ledger.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, madam. Your doubt, man.
No, the non-leading ledger, you are saying that they can open and close anytime, right?
Very good, madam. Yes, madam.
How I mean, external reporting purposes, they will not accept like that, right? You cannot, if you close the period, that's it. You cannot just go back and put anything in
Not,
there.
I never told to the non-leading ledger. I told only for the extension ledger. For
Oh,
the
okay.
leading ledgers and for the non-leading ledgers, you have to follow the audit principle that once the period has been closed, you should not open the previous period.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. That was my question. Okay.
For the non-leading ledger and the non-leading ledger. Non-leading ledger will, in a very, very important, the concept is here, very, very important concept is here. If the leading ledger is using, for example, I'm using from Jan to December. If I'm using the Jan to December, and here the IFRS I'm using from April to March. April to March.
You can also use that for Jan to December, right?
Which one, sir?
For IFRS, you can use the same period.
That depends upon, yes, sir. That depends upon. Okay. So I'm using a different, as I told you yesterday, the non-leading ledgers will have the different fiscal year, but it will inherit the same currency settings of the leading ledger to the non-leading ledger. This concept is completely different. Whereas if I'm talking on the extension ledger, your base ledger, okay, very, very important. Your base ledger is any ledger. Your base ledger, either it can be a leading ledger or it can be a non-leading ledger. Okay. If I'm taking the OL, what is the OL here? Here the OL is Jan to December. Here it is a Jan to December. Jan to December, and your financial year is, and your fiscal year variant is USD. Now, when I'm creating an extension ledger on the top of your base ledger, or when I'm creating an extension ledger on the top of your base ledger, it will inherit the same currency settings and the fiscal year variant of your base ledger only. You cannot have the different fiscal year variant on the extension ledger. No, it will inherit the same fiscal year variant of your, that is Jan to December in the extension ledger. Here in this extension ledger, you can open and you can close your financial period at any time. It is not controlled by your leading ledger. It is not controlled by your leading ledger. That is what exactly the reason. That is what exactly I want. But whatever the postings you are making to the non-leading ledgers, it will not impact to your, whatever the explicitly you are posting a transaction in the extension ledger, it will not have the impact to your base ledger. That is very, very important. But the transactions you are posting in the base ledger will impact on your extension ledger.
Earlier, you mentioned that in the extension ledger, we can have different currency, right?
What's that?
We can use different currencies for extension ledger for one of the colleagues?
No.
Okay.
The same fiscal year variant and the currency settings of the base ledger will be inherited to the extension ledger, sir.
Yeah, one of the colleagues asked, then you mentioned that currency can be any.
Yeah, if it is a mistake, if it is a tongue slip, please excuse me, sir.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank you for that clarification. Yeah. I was just
sorry.
wondering how this translation.
I'm extremely sorry. I'm in a flow that I just confused about the words. I'm sorry, sir. Please. I'm taking my words back. Okay. It is only the fiscal year variant and the currency settings are inherited. If I see this, okay, if this is the standard SAP, here you can see here where it is appendix ledger or see here. Inner the currency settings and the fiscal year variant. You can see here, sir. This is the point. Okay. This is the concept of three ledgers. One is the leading ledger, second one is the non-leading ledger, and the third one is going to be called as your extension ledgers. This extension ledger is a new concept in SAP S/4HANA. Very, very important, sir. This extension ledger is a new concept in SAP S/4HANA. Very, 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 very important. Now let me take this. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, 1 second.
So Mahesh, Prem here once again.
Yes, sir. Prem, sir.
So when you have leading ledger and non-leading ledger, you know,
sir,
like in extension ledger, you said all the journal entries which are posted in the leading ledger or the base ledger are inherited or copied in the extension ledger, right?
Exactly, sir.
And not vice versa.
No.
What happens? What is the relationship between similar type of relationship between leading ledger and non-leading ledger in terms of inheritance of the entries?
No. Okay, I'll tell, sir. Well, I'll tell. Okay, now we are talking about the leading ledger and the non-leading ledger. Okay, now.
Yeah, the relationship for the entries which are or transactions which are going in one ledger versus the other ledger.
I'll tell, sir. I'll tell. 1 second, sir. I'll just let me attach this. What are the PPT I'm showing? I'm just attaching over here. Okay, see the PPT is attached. The extension ledger PPT. This is the same PPT. Whatever the discussions we are making since yesterday, just same I am attaching over here. You can see here the PPT is attached. You can download and you can read it. Okay, just I'm saying. Okay, now, so what is our question, sir? Here now, now let us assume that now our question here is now you are having the two ledgers, sir. One is the leading ledger, another one is the non-leading ledger, sir. I'm right, sir?
Correct.
Okay. Now both these ledgers have been assigned to the same company code. Okay. What is the company code you are using? Example I'm taking. Okay. You are assigning to the okay US 10. Okay, right. Now, as I discussed about yesterday. Okay. As I discussed about you yesterday, whatever the postings you are making in the leading ledger, automatically the transactions are getting inherited to the non-leading ledgers also.
Okay, so they will be inherited in the non-leading.
Exactly. Now I'll take one example. Mahesh, do one thing. I have so many non-leading ledgers. Okay, well, for example, I'm taking. Okay, I have only one leading ledger, OL. I have N1, N2, and N3. These are the three non-leading ledgers I am having. Okay. Forget about all the one is for the IFRS, one is for the this is the local gap, this is for the local gap, this is for the IFRS, this is for the US gap, this is for the IAS, this is for the different reporting purpose I'm using. What is the concept here? Whatever the transactions you are posting to the leading ledger, automatically those transactions are getting inherited to the non-leading ledgers. But in my case, in my company, according to my business requirement, now there is a one concept that whatever the transactions you are posting, very, very important, sir. This is very, very important. Okay. Now let us assume that now the transactions you are impacting to, there are few transactions, not all the transactions, just for only for the tax reporting purpose or something, internal audit reporting purpose. There are some transactions I'm posting to the OL, but these transactions should only impact to N1 and N3 only, not to N2, not to N2. Okay. Okay, this is what exactly my requirement here. Okay, now can I make a specific setting that the transactions you are posting to these three ledgers can have only impact to the, it should not impact to N2. Is there any way like this? Yes. What I will do here, there is a concept called as ledger group. There's a concept called as ledger group. Oh my God, my net connectivity is very, very slow. 1 second. Sir, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, everything is fine. It's live, no problem. It's good.
Yeah, okay, right. Now, I'll create one ledger group. Okay, so this ledger group name, I'm just keeping as L1. Example, this is the ledger group I created, one ledger group I've created. Now, what is the business requirement? There are some postings are there. There are some postings to the leading ledger. Very, very important, where it should be inherited only for N2 and N3, not for N2, N1 and N3 only. Okay, so those particular transactions I would have impact to this particular ledger. Can I create like this? Yes, there is some settings are there where if you go back, I create one ledger group. Concept is very, very important here. So I'll come to the ledger group. I'll create a new ledger group. The ledger group name I'm giving as L1. Okay. L1 ledger group. Okay, anything ledger group. Now I'm saving here. Okay, somebody. Okay, I'll take LEH, something like. Okay, now I created one ledger group. You can see here. Okay, L8. L8 is the ledger group. Now I'll select this ledger group, and what I will do, I'll go to the ledger assignments, and I will only involve OL. Okay, I'll take some other ledgers. Okay, I'll take AS, and I'll take one more non-leading ledger. Okay, for the IFRS, I'll take I6. Okay, so only 3 ledgers. One is the leading ledger, and these 2 are non-leading ledgers. These 2 are non-leading ledgers. So what is happening here? I created one separate ledger group that is going to be called as L8. L8 is my ledger group name. In this ledger group, there are 3 ledgers are there. In this, I'm selecting only one ledger as a representative ledger. I'll tell what is a representative ledger. Now I'm saving here. Now I'm saving. Now what happened? Now your ledger group is L8. Now you have 3 ledgers. So there is a one transaction code where we are going to be calling it as FB01L. Okay. If I go to this FB01L, so now here there is a field is called as a ledger group. If I give the ledger group as a L8 over here, if I give the ledger group as a L8, automatically system what it will do, it will not get posted to any other ledgers. Only the ledgers you have maintained in this particular ledger group only, like OL, A1, A3, there are 3 ledgers are there. In this, there are 3 ledgers are there, AS and IC. Only these 3 ledgers are going to be impacted. No other ledgers are going to be impacted for your company code. If I take the company code as a US name, you have multiple non-leading ledgers are there. You have multiple non-leading ledgers out. So it will not impact to any other ledgers except these 3 ledgers are getting posted. Is it clear, sir? Now your statement is clear, sir? Now?
Yeah, perfectly all right.
So
But
on
my
the same-
other question was, if you post any transactions in the non-leading ledgers, does it get inherited into the leading ledger?
No, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
No.
right. Thank you.
Hey, Maharsh, a question. If there is extension ledger for a leading ledger, so I posted to this extension ledger, whether it's automatically go to non-leading ledger as well?
You're posting the transactions in the extension ledger. So you stapled your extension ledger on the non-leading ledgers. That is correct?
No. The extension ledger for leading ledger.
No,
So
no.
that's-
No, whatever the postings you're making to the extension ledger, that will not be inherited to the base ledger, even it is a leading ledger or non-leading ledger. No, it will not happen, sir.
So, Mahesh, what is the purpose of ledger group, right? So is there any specific purpose?
For reporting purposes, so ledger group specifically, I am creating only to be postings, only the postings which should be impact only through the specific ledgers only, not to all the ledgers.
So Mahesh, one question. So if you are doing any posting in non-leading ledger, that will remain only in the non-leading ledger, correct?
You can make the setting that you can, if you don't want to inherit it to the leading ledger, yes, you can make it as a non-leading ledger as it, because see, if the postings are inheriting to the leading ledger, then the leading ledger is for the local reporting purpose. Then there will be a lot of disturbance between the non-leading ledger and leading, so there will be no inheritance is there.
No, yeah, you mentioned that any posting to leading ledger will automatically flow to the non-leading ledger, that we understand. And you also mentioned that the non-leading, any posting to non-leading ledger will not go to the leading ledger.
Leading ledger, no.
So if you if you are posting any entries in non-leading ledger, that will remain only in non-leading
In the
ledger.
non-leading ledger, yes, sir.
Okay, correct. Thank you.
Hey, Maharsh, a question. So for extension ledger, how do we use it? We cannot use it individually, right? We must be using it together with leading ledger or non-leading ledger, right?
Correct, madam. See, madam, what is the purpose of extension ledger? See, for example, I'll take you one example now. I'll take one example, madam. Okay, now let us assume that. Okay, now I'm just cooking. Okay, just for example, I'm just one. Okay, what I will do here? I want to do some configurations. I want to do some configurations in my SAP as per the business process requirement. First of all, what I will do? I will not do this. Okay, this is a very critical requirement. This is a very critical requirement. It has to be involved in a lot of developments. A lot of developments are involved. So what I will do, I will not use my general landscape. I will not use my development and quality and my production. So what I will do, I have another system with me, which is called as the sandbox system, which is going to be called as the sandbox system. Okay, this is called as an example I'm taking. Okay, sandbox. This is sandbox system. This is another server which I'm going to be taking. So whatever the business process requirement, first of all, what I will do, I will design this process. I will design this process in the sandbox. Very, very important, madam. I will design this process in the sandbox and I'll play like anything in the sandbox. Why? Because it is not impacting to my production system here, which is not impacting to my production system. Okay, there is no connectivity is there between the sandbox to my production system. So as per my business process requirement, I play like anything in the sandbox. Sandbox is a rough client. Sandbox is a rough client where you can do a lot of trial and errors in the sandbox. Once I feel that, okay, that whatever the developments, whatever the configurations we have made correctly, then I process them in the development quality and the production. In the same way, this extension ledger, whatever the extension ledger which I'm using, whatever the extension ledger which I'm creating, these extension ledgers will not have an impact to your leading ledgers or the non-leading ledgers. Why? Because these are only for the rough, only for the internal management decision making purpose only, not for external reporting purpose, only for internal purpose. What do you mean by internal reporting purpose? Where if you want to have the restatement purpose for any kind of decision making, or if you want to adjust the revenues, or if you want to go for any consolidation, those activities I am making in the extension ledger. Even your auditors will not touch your extension ledgers. Even your auditors will not touch your extension ledger. They know that your extension ledgers are only for internal reporting purpose only. Your auditors will only touch the leading ledgers and the non-leading ledgers. Clear?
Okay, Mahesh, this is Victor. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So if your extension ledger is can allow you to go back in period, let's say we're in period 3 right now, and you can go to period 1 and make an adjustment, period 2 and make an adjustment. How is that, if it's a legitimate adjustment? Because I know instances where you truly need to make a prior period adjustment. If it's a legitimate adjustment, how is that going to ever now be reported into your leading ledger or non-leading ledger, so you can report it in your financial statement?
Exactly, sir. There is one example. Okay, so there is a one statement. That is what exactly. So normally, for the normal ledgers like leading ledgers and the non-leading ledgers, the opening and closing of the financial statements have been given you. Okay, that is what for the periods. Okay, go here.
Yeah, it's closed.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I'll directly show in the system. Okay, so. Okay, I'm done. Okay, so if I take any posting period variance, okay, if I take any posting period, for example, I'm taking a standard one.
Okay.
Okay, now let us assume that now if you are taking here, okay, this is the, okay, this is what exactly. Now what I will do, I'm opening the period 1. This is 2019. And the first period is open. That is 2019. Means your January period is opened over here, sir. Your January period is opened here.
Okay.
Very, very important, sir. Okay. Now, what is the variant you are using? 00010. Okay, this is the variant we am going to be using. So I'll go to my ledger now. Same ledger. Okay. For example, I'll go to the leading ledger now.
Okay.
Okay, what is my leading ledger here? OL. 0L is nothing but my leading ledger. Okay, this is nothing but my leading ledger. And which company code I want to assign, that is for the 1710 or US 10. I'll go to my company code. Where is my company code? 1709. I take one company code. Okay, 1709. Yeah, this is my company code. Okay, 1710 is my company code. Now, if I go to this company code here, you can see here. You can see here, posting period variant. What I'm going to do, 0010 I'm assigning over here right now. 0010 I am assigning here right now. Very, very important, sir. Very, very important. For which ledger? That is going to be called as a 0L. This is going to be called as a 0L. Now, which period is opened here? Which period is open? Only January month is opened for this particular variant. Just now we have shown that. Okay, which period is open? The first period. What is the first period? 2019.
Yeah.
January period is open. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do? I'm saving the settings now. Yes, I'm saving the settings. Yeah. Now the settings have been saved.
Okay.
Now I have an extension ledger right now. Okay, now I have an extension ledger. Now I'll go back to ledger. Okay, where is the extension ledger? This I'll take A1. A1 is nothing but my extension ledger, where the extension ledger is stapled on which ledger, sir? OL.
Yeah. Yep.
OL. OL. Which period is open now? January.
Period 1.
01 is open. Now I'm selecting my extension ledger. And what I will do, I'll double click on the company code. Which company code you are assigning? That company code. Okay. Now I'll go to my company code. Okay. Now here, if we come here, okay, 1710. Okay. Now I'll go to the new entries. I'm adding my company code, which is called as a 1710. Okay, I'm because the same company code, whichever the leading ledger I have assigned, the same company code I'm attaching here. Okay, right. See, sir, 1710. But here, if we see here, your fiscal year variant is automatically grayed out. Means you cannot enter any fiscal year variant. Very, very important. But you can have the different posting period variant here. You can have your different posting period. So what I will do here, I'll go back. I'll create a new posting period variant. Example, 0020 I'll create posting period variant for extension ledger. Example. Okay, now I'm saying I created a new ledger. Now I created a new posting period variant. This is 0020. Okay, very good. Now I'll go to the open and close posting periods. Okay, 0020. I'll give it here. I'm creating a new variant. Now I'll go to my variant. I'll put as a place. Now here, I will open the period. I'll open all the periods. 1, 2019. I'll open all the 12 periods. 12, 2019. Very, very important. All the periods, January to till the month of December, all the periods are open because I have given 1 to 12. Now I'm saving here. Okay. Valid. Okay, so I'll take place. Okay. Now I've taken all the periods. 1 to 12 means all the periods are open, not just like 0010. In 0010, I have opened only one period, that is for the month of January, which has been assigned to the leading ledger. Now in this particular variant, I have opened all the periods. Now I'll go back. I'll come here. Now I will select that variant here. I'll select that variant 0020 variant, whichever the name I have been given here. Okay, posting period variant 0020. 1 second, I need to come back and I'll add because this is the new configuration. Okay. I'll select this ledger, company code. I'll give my company code. Now, what is the name I have given? Posting period variant for extension ledger. EXT, something like I have given.
I can't remember.
Yeah, here it is. See, posting period variant for, not for this. EX I given. Yeah, here. Posting period variant for EXT. Okay, yeah. You can see here. I'm assigning a new posting period variant. But I cannot change the fiscal year because the fiscal year variant, I told that fiscal year variant and the currency settings are inherited from the base ledger. Whatever the base ledger here, OL. But you can have the different posting period variant. See here. Earlier, the posting period variant for the OL is 0010, but here in this particular appendix ledger or extension ledger, I'm using 0020. In 0020, all the periods are open, but in 0010, only one period is open.
Okay.
So now here there is a deviation is there. Posting period variant from the extension ledger to the base ledger, but your fiscal year variant and the currency settings are going to be the same. So these adjustments I can make it here. Now now in the extension ledger, all the periods are open, sir. Your January to till the month of December, all the periods are open. Now in which period you want to make adjustments, now you can make the adjustments. Why? Because your periods are not closed. But whereas in the variant of 0010, which is called as a leading ledger, only for the month of January only you are supposed to post, because February to till the month of December, all the periods have been closed. Now this is the concept. That is what exactly the extension ledgers are mainly useful for internal reporting purpose. Why? Because you are doing the adjustments in the future periods, or you are doing the adjustments in the prior period. You are doing the adjustments in the current period. So you are doing a lot of adjustments for different reporting purpose. So these extension ledgers are only for internal reporting purpose. So your auditors will not consider your extension ledgers for any kind of financial statement versions.
Mahesh, we have one option, right? The parallel accounting using GL account. What does that mean? If we
That I'll tell, sir. I'll tell you. That is what yesterday I told. Now for one ledger, for one leading ledger, if you are assigning the multiple accounting principles, like I don't want to have the non-leading ledger. Hey Mahesh, only one ledger. I want for the same ledger. I want to assign the IFRS. I want to assign the US GAAP. I want to assign the local GAAP. Everything. Then you need to select this parallel accounting. If you're selecting this parallel accounting concept, means for each and every account principle, you need to create a separate GL account because you're not using the non-leading ledger concept. Yesterday we discussed same point. Like this, sir. I think we have yesterday we have done it. Okay, so if I'm selecting the ledger, if I go to the accounting principles, if I go to the company code, if I select one company code, any company code, if I go to the accounting principles, if I'm assigning more than one accounting principle like IFRS for the same, like this, if I'm assigning more than one accounting principle, then the system will throw an error message that you have not set the indicator parallel accounting by the GL accounting. Okay, now I'll save. Okay, now this will not become your ledger specific. This will become your account specific postings. Okay, so I need to create one GL account for IFRS. I need to create one GL account for the GAAP, like this. So now what I have to do, this is not the ledger specific. So what I will do, I'll make the system that, yes, this is not the ledger specific. I'm posting to the GL specific. So now I go back. Okay, which company code? Okay, 10K. I'll go back to my company code. I'll go back to my company code. 10K, where is 10K? 100, sir, 100K. I'll go back to this company code and I'll select the checkbox.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
If you are using the non-leading ledger for IFRS one ledger, for IAS one ledger, for local GAAP one ledger, then this parallel GL accounting will not come into the picture. So the statement of ledger, non-leading ledger, extension ledger is clear to everybody now. Only theoretically I'm talking, not practically. Now you can answer any question. Now you can answer any question in the certification. I hope. I'm very much sure about my friends in the class. You can answer any question in the certification now.
Yep. One quick question.
I also hope.
Mahesh,
Yes,
this
sir.
this various non-leading ledgers we can use for the same period, right? It need not be for a different period.
What can you come out the question, sir? 1 second.
For example, if you are using an IFRS instead of in the company based out of US, if we are using a leading ledger for US GAAP and non-leading ledger for IFRS reporting, it can be for the same period. It need not be for a different period.
It depends. That's what I told. You can see in this example, if you see here, one leading ledger I'm using for the Jan to December, and the non-leading ledger I'm using from April to March. Example I'm taking. So whatever, see, okay, if it is the month of January in the IFRS, in the local GAAP, it will become the first period for me. January is the first period in the US GAAP.
Yeah.
But when I go to the IFRS, this will become my 10th period. January is the 10th period according to the April to March, 10th period. Okay, now what is happening? The transactions you are posting in the period in the month will have impact in the transactions in the month of 10th, not in the month of 01.
Oh, that concept I understood. What I'm asking is, why can't, if you wanted to use say 01, I mean Jan to December for IFRS, we can use it in that way.
You can use, sir. You can use.
Oh,
you can use.
okay.
Yeah. I think the same question has been asked someone, one of our friend also yesterday. You can use this. Concept is going to be the same.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Maharsh, sorry. So one extension ledger can underline different leading ledger and non-leading ledger, right?
No. Vice versa, we don't have that. We don't have this hierarchical process.
And then I must create two extension ledger. For example,
you can have multiple, not two, madam. On the base ledger, you can have 100 extension ledgers.
Then it's duplicate because for consolidation purpose, I need extension ledger for US GAAP, and I also need extension ledger for IFRS. So I need to create two extension ledger and do the two ledgers. So it's, I mean, it's duplicated. I mean, I need to enter the entry twice.
No, madam, that why do you go? No. See, for example, see, what is the purpose here? See, the only one thing, that is what the system, what it is allowing you, whatever the postings you are making to the extension ledger, vice versa, that will not have any impact to your base ledger. If it is having the impact to the base ledger, then your point is correct. That is that there is a lot of duplications are going to be happening between the base ledger and the extension ledger. Because of that.
Not impact, but I need, when I do the reporting purpose, for example, I needed to see the consolidation with final result. So I need to combine the leading ledger and the extension ledger together.
You can see, madam, reportings are available. The reportings are available, but I'm talking, you're talking about the postings. Postings will become the duplication then. If I allow you to have the replication then there will be a lot of complications are going to be arise, madam. Because of that only SAP is not allowing us to have the duplications. No, madam. So you can have the postings in the appendix ledger or the extension ledger, and you can have the postings in the base ledger. That is separately you can do it, but not vice versa, madam, please. Then there is no case of using the extension ledger then.
So for reporting purpose, I can combine the leading ledger and extension ledger, for example.
Yes, you can do that. As I told you just now, you can create a one ledger group. You can create a separate ledger group, and you can do like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that depends upon how exactly you want to go for the reporting. That depends upon requirement to requirement.
Mahesh, you cannot change the currency, right, in the extension ledger?
No, currency and the fiscal year variants are going to be inherited over there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. And we'll see in the next class about all the things. Tomorrow we don't have the class. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mahesh.